In 1976, a mysterious song began playing on American radio, and suddenly, no one could escape it. The slow guitar intro, the haunting atmosphere, and then a voice that felt like it was telling a story straight out of a dream. On a dark desert highway, cool wind in my hair. The song was Hotel California, and the voice belonged to Don Henley. For millions of listeners, that song became more than just music. It became a memory, a late-night drive, a road trip with friends, a cassette tape playing quietly in the background. But behind that unforgettable voice was a story that started far away from fame. Long before the world knew him, Don Henley was just a quiet teenager growing up in Linden, Texas. It was a small town where life moved slowly. Friday night football games, Sunday church services, and families that had known each other for generations. Rock stars didn't come from places like that. Henley wasn't the loudest kid in school. He wasn't the most popular either. In fact, many classmates remembered him as thoughtful and observant, someone who spent more time thinking than talking. At first, his dream wasn't even music. Like many boys in Texas, he wanted to play football. But that dream ended quickly when injuries forced him off the field. What seemed like a disappointment at the time quietly changed the direction of his life. With football gone, something else took its place. Music. Henley began playing drums in small local bands, performing for small crowds and school events. It wasn't glamorous. No fame, no money. Just teenagers experimenting with sound and learning songs they heard on the radio. But during the 1960s, music itself was changing. Bands like the Beatles and the Rolling Stones were transforming rock into something powerful, something that spoke to an entire generation. And Henley began to realize he didn't just enjoy music, he understood it. Eventually, he joined a small band called Shiloh, and that group made a bold decision that would change everything. They moved to Los Angeles. At the time, Los Angeles was the center of a musical revolution. Young artists from all over the country were arriving with the same dream, hoping to build a career in music. But the truth was brutal. Most of them failed. Henley struggled like everyone else. Small gigs, uncertain opportunities, nights wondering if the dream would ever work. But sometimes life changes with a single meeting. In Los Angeles, Henley met a guitarist named Glenn Frey. They were very different personalities. Henley thoughtful and introspective, Frey confident and ambitious. But together, something clicked. Soon they joined the touring band of singer Linda Ronstadt, along with musicians Bernie Laden and Randy Meisner. Spending night after night on the road, the four musicians began imagining something bigger. Their own band. In 1971, they took the risk and formed Eagles. At first, they were just another group trying to make it in Los Angeles. But their music felt different. It blended rock, country storytelling, and harmonies in a way audiences hadn't heard before. Then came the song that changed everything, Hotel California. The song became one of the most recognizable recordings in music history. The album sold millions of copies, and suddenly the Eagles weren't just successful. They were legendary, but success came with pressure. Creative arguments, long tours, growing tension inside the band. By 1980, after years of conflict, the Eagles broke apart. For many groups, that would have been the end. But Don Henley continued writing powerful music on his own, releasing songs like The Boys of Summer, proving he was far more than just the drummer of a famous band. Years later, the Eagles reunited and continued performing for new generations of fans. Today, Don Henley is 78 years old, and the band that once defined the sound of the 1970s is slowly reaching the final chapter of its story. But the truth is, legends don't really disappear, because somewhere tonight, someone will turn on the radio, and that familiar guitar will begin playing again, on a dark desert highway. and the voice of Don Henley will continue echoing through time. If you enjoy discovering the real stories behind legendary stars, subscribe to Celebrity Vault, because the greatest stories in music are often the ones people never hear.